Welcome back into another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet. And today we have a very special guest joining us. We have a return special guest. We have Wesley. How's it going today, man?
Man, it's going great. It's good to be back on the show, and it's good to have a good talk with my friend, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really trying to find a way to come out to Baton Rouge sometime this summer, but the summer just kind of escaped from me. And I was like, well, luckily in the South, it doesn't snow quite as early as it does up north. So
Well, there's hardly been any snow here, man. It's been one of the hottest summers I have seen. I try to do some jogging outside every day,
yeah.
but I got to be honest with you, it's been really giving me some challenges.
Oh yeah. We've had the rain. We've been really wet this summer, which is really weird here in Texas, at least where I'm at. So
I just it's funny. I just came home from Odessa, Texas,
I
literally
saw.
it was, man, we come through a torrential downpour. It seemed like we were spared for the show, but
Mhm.
everything in between was a washout. So
Now, did you drive to Odessa or did you fly? Like fly
we
in?
it was funny. It was my wife's also my manager, so we decided it was our anniversary, so we decided to drive and
Okay.
just kind of see the sights and hang out and do things like that. It was great. But we did realize real quick it is a long drive from
Mm.
Baton Rouge to Odessa, Texas, man. It's
Yep.
I think it's about 12 hours and counting with stops.
Yep. I'm going out to Roswell, which is I think about 3 hours past Odessa, and it's 8 hours for me. So once you get past Odessa, that West Texas area,
It's nothing there, man.
yeah, it's oil fields. You're pretty much
It's
looking
that
at.
you be careful not to get abducted, man. Because I look to do more interviews with you in the future. I don't want no aliens to pick you up. All right.
Well, I lived there for 4 years. They ain't picked me up yet, so I think we're pretty good. So
Man, it's funny. I've been wanting to go to Roswell. Like, what is it like over there? I have not been there. I haven't played a show there, but I've heard
that's
nothing but cool things, man.
so Roswell's got like just in general, if you're going there to do like the touristy stuff, like I haven't been there or like around the touristy stuff in a while. Usually when I go there, I stay out off of Main Street for as much as possible.
Hmm.
But you can get a good day trip out of Roswell, like because they've got the museum, they've got some new other attractions, but your real attractions are going down to like Carlsbad and going into the caverns, and then you
Ah,
come back to Roswell, and then you go up to like Santa Fe. It's like New Mexico's kind of the destination if you want to go for like a multiple day trip. But Roswell, it's got some really cool outdoor stuff you can do. It's got the alien stuff. It's got a really cool music scene.
really?
They're starting to well, I mean, I say starting. They were doing it when I was living there. That's um but they've got a venue there. He brings in all the people from like 2000 that were super big in 2000 that are kind of doing those reunion tours and have a
Oh,
day off between Albuquerque and Santa Fe or Albuquerque and like San Antonio or something. And they just kind of come and play, and it's really cool.
man, that's super cool, man. That really is. That really is.
Yeah, I'll have to. I know the venue owner pretty good at one of the big venues out there. I'll drop your name in there, and whenever he's looking for somebody, I'll let him know.
Hey, please do, man. I'd love to. I'll make the drive up there too. I drive everywhere. I fly, I drive, I'll do anything.
Fair. I know that you just got back from would you say Switzerland not too long ago?
Yeah, man, we had a fantastically successful tour of Switzerland. I flew over and I was doing in support of the new single that we had Time's Catching Up to Me with my buddy Florian Fox. We had 7 sold out shows. It was just an amazing tour. The people were very responsive, and it was just a magical time, man. I can't talk enough about how much I love touring Europe and Switzerland and all the great people there.
I've heard a lot of good things. They really love American music. We'll just call it because it's Americana, it's country. They love it all. So
They do, man. And there are a lot of country purists there. They know their country music there, man. They they amaze me with how well they know it word for word and note for note.
nice. And so now you got to go back, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, it's a yearly thing, like me and Florian do a thing where like he'll come open for me, I'll go open for him. So it's like every year, we plan the tours and they've been getting bigger and bigger. So how do you argue with that? He said, "Hey, next year we got to come back and it's going to be bigger than this year." I said, "Well, how do you complain with that?"
right? Very fair. And so you just had a bit like I feel like when we first met in what was it, February this year? Was
I
that
believe it was.
CRS?
Yeah, it was before the CRS, and then
Yeah.
we re-hooked up at the CRS and had a nice talk, man.
Yeah, it was in February, and I don't think Honky Tonk USA had quite come out yet. I
No.
maybe you were still in the process of working on it because I don't remember talking about it specifically, but other than you just had a new single coming.
Yeah, we did. I don't believe we talked about Honky Tonk USA at all. Actually, that's crazy, man. We released that, and we're singles down the road now.
Yeah, honestly, I was that's like my summer song. Like whenever I'm going out to go run to the store or whatever, I'll just throw that song Honky Tonk USA on, just kind of like it's the good vibe song, is what I call it.
Well, Thomas, I appreciate that, man. It was intended to be a summertime song, and the music video was a lot of fun to make. We
Yeah,
made that in the heart of summer, and just kind of doing a friendly spoof of
yeah,
our vision of country music. I think you did
yeah.
have a chance to review that, and I
Yeah,
do appreciate that review and the honesty of it.
yeah. Well, see, it's so funny because I started doing that after CRS. I had a few people talking about music videos, and I was like, you know what? I've done film work. Like maybe that's what independent musicians need is like a tough critic that understands what
Yeah,
it's like to be in the independent scene and not have any money, but still knows kind of how to work his way around. Some people like it, some people don't,
I love
and
it. I
it's
love
just
it.
kind of a thing. But I definitely love the music video for Honky Tonk USA. I don't know if I said that enough in the critique, but I did. So,
You were definitely favorable, and you had some critiques of things that you thought would be better, which we've actually taken into account for future videos, man. And
mhm.
I really did respect your review on it. And I'm over the moon that you enjoyed the video.
Oh, yeah.
It was a kind of a comedic side to me that we don't often do.
Yeah.
Many people think I'm very serious, but I have a comedic side too. So it was a lot of fun.
I definitely pick up on the comedic side. Like you're just always so warm and welcoming and like just jovial, I guess is the best word to kind
Oh,
of
thank you.
use whenever we get a chance to sit down and chat. So,
Well, it's always good to do interviews with your friends, man.
yeah,
People that you just really get along with, and so it's always fun doing interviews here with Live and Amplified. So I'm here. Let's do it, man.
I appreciate that. So, you've had a busy summer, you Honky Tonk USA, time's catching up to me. And
Yeah.
then you also, do you consider both sides of the track? Is that an EP or an LP, or where does that kind of fall in your opinion? I know there's some differing opinions on what it would be.
Both sides of the tracks was an older album that we redistributed just to get to
Okay.
the people out there, and it was it's funny, because it was the first album that we had that really started getting some serious traction,
Hmm.
really just getting things going the right way and getting the people talking, and it was just one of those I would have to say like every artist has a game starter for them, and that's what
Hmm.
I believe both sides of the tracks was for us. So after the success of it, a lot of the supporters were asking to put it up and to redistribute it. So we decided to do that just to make it all happen, man. It's been really cool to revisit some of those music videos and some of those singles along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. How long ago did you had you originally put out both sides of the track?
What was interesting about both sides was it was a double disc CD, a really strong effort, but it originally dropped in 2020, right before the pandemic. So we always call this the pandemic record, man, because it came out right in the heart of it, and we had to learn different ways of promoting it from the start, from
Yeah.
the jump, because the world had shut down, so we couldn't tour in support of the album. So we really just took the time to try to get the record to the radio stations and to the people in
Mhm.
that format. And that was the beginning of really getting some traction and getting it playing all over the world. And just those kind of things really boost my career in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where in an unfortunate time, you made it work for the best you could. And
Yes.
then in the did you go in and like re-record the songs as well, or did you just basically re-release it and then just get more traction off of it?
We more or less just re-released it
Hmm.
just to make it happen. Just because what had happened was at the time that it was released, a lot of the fans were asking, you know, we were trying to sell more like physical copies of it when it
Hmm.
first dropped because we were when the world opened back up, you know, that's what we were selling on the shows and all things like that. And that was really that was really the push that got us started. Oh, hey, camera's back. Hey, hello
Camera's
everybody.
back,
Well, it's gone.
and
It was there for a second.
it's all good. No, I'm not worried about it anymore. It's
Sure.
so, no, that's cool. So you kind of had the opportunity to just get it back out there, and it seems like people are really digging it. So that's cool.
Yeah, man, people have really been responding, and it's getting to, you know, as I grow, it's getting to a lot more a newer group of fan base there. So that's something that's very special in itself as well. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course, in between then and now, are you also released Time's Catching Up to Me, which we brought up a little bit ago, but with your buddy Florian Fox.
Yeah.
Did you cut that while you were out in Switzerland, or had that been in the works a little bit?
Well, it'd been in the works a little bit, but what's really interesting about it is that I wrote it in Switzerland. It's a funny story behind the song. You know, a lot of songs have deep meanings, but this one is really pretty straightforward. It was you know, it was a couple of years ago, and I was on tour there, and it was after a really packed and rowdy country show. I woke up the next morning and felt like I got hit by a bus. And I realized I was like, you know, it's funny. When I was 21, I could just blow through these shows, but a little bit of age can kind of catch up to you. And I was like, man, time's kind of catching up to me. And it's like it hit me like a light bulb going off. And I went down by Lake Zurich and started writing the song, wrote it in 15 minutes, and I played it for Flory, and he said, "This is going to have to be our next single." And then, you know, it was the following year where we actually got in there because our schedules were so hectic. We finally just got in there and got it recorded, and it's been a real crowd favorite. People have been loving it live, and they've been streaming it. It's just been it's really cool to see the success of the song, not only in America but in Europe as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a catchy song, and very relatable because I think everybody has that moment of realizing, oh, time's catching up to me. So
Yeah, that's what I try to do as a songwriter, man. I try to be relatable to everyone. You know, write something we all can relate to.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then you'd mentioned that you have a new single in the works. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, I gotta be honest. My next single is gonna be my most personal to date. It's gonna be a very intimate single. It's the name of the tune is called "It's 12 O'clock in Texas," and what the song is about is it's about the death of my brother Danny, and it's a song that was written. You know, sometimes when tragedy hits you, some people just don't know how to deal with it, and I was one of those people. You know, and you know his death it hit me in a way that it didn't hit me all at once. It hit me
Mm,
as a gradual thing, just kind of puts you in shock when you first hear it. And 12 O'clock in Texas was written really a week after my brother's death. And I was touring Texas. And there's a very ominous like story behind this song, man. Like I was with a bandmate and I was driving home from a show in Houston, Texas. And I'm telling you, a gale force wind in the middle of the night, around 12:30 at night, it come across the road and nearly just knocked my vehicle off the road. And it had been a clear night up until that point. And I remember my bandmate looking at me, he's like, "Man, that was weird." And I don't know why I said it or why I even thought it. Maybe I was just still grief stricken, but I said, I think that was the spirit of my brother just saying goodbye.
mhm.
Well, I went to bed that night and I woke up the next morning and I just had these lyrics in my mind. It was the rain inside of me, it never goes away, it never leaves, and all my memories are falling down on me because it's 12 o'clock in Texas, but it's the dead of night for me. And these lyrics, I started writing them and sculpting them, and me and my bandmates sat down. And within about an hour and a half, we really wrote this long song about, you know, the grief that you feel about losing someone you care about. And what's interesting about this song is that it's going to be a collaboration between the song and the music video. The music video it's really what's going to tell the tale of how my brother passed and the grief that fell upon me from it. And I've been very candid about how my brother died. He died of a heroin overdose,
Mm,
and he died alone in a hotel room. And that is something that has haunted me from the minute it happened. And the song doesn't lyrically explain that, but the music video does. And there's a very, very deep video that we're going to have that's released on October 4th. And it's something I'm very proud of. You know, it was a very emotional experience to make it, but we made it because we wanted to tackle the subject. Because let's be honest, in our country today, we're having a very, very bad epidemic with drug abuse, and
mm,
people are dying left and right from it.
yeah.
And the one good that I would like to take from 12 o'clock in Texas is, though the grief has been difficult to bear, maybe the song and the video can help someone else. And
Hmm.
maybe it can help an addict turn from their addictions, or maybe it can explain, you know, someone who lost someone they love. Maybe it can help them cope with their grief. And that's really what we're trying to do with 12 o'clock in Texas. It's a song that I'm most proud of. And I really hope that it translates to the people who listen and watch the video. I really hope it gets them on a polar level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a topic that needs to be discussed. Like, I mean, I've been doing this podcast for 8 years, and I can't tell you how many musicians that I've had on this podcast or are associated with, like in bands that I've had on this podcast that have died from
Yeah.
ODs, accidental ODs or intentional, like whatever it is. Just it's definitely a topic, and I'm really glad that you're taking your personal experience and trying to shine a light on it in some kind of way.
You know, it's almost therapeutic for myself to do it that way, Thomas, you know, because
Mm,
it's like, you know, I always tell people that it's not only the people that suffer from addiction. The addict is not the only one that suffers. The people that
mm,
love the addict suffer along with them.
yeah,
And it's that very premise that we're really hoping that this translates to anyone who's lost anyone in any way. It doesn't even have to be addiction. You know, it's
mm,
like you said, you know, you've interviewed so many great musicians that you can't even bring on the show anymore because of
yeah,
these problems, man. And
yeah,
we need to shine the light on it. And music is a field where there is a lot of drug abuse going on. And hell, at one point I was a bad alcoholic. I had to turn from that and get back on the right
yeah,
path. So, you know, the way I look at it these days is I got to use the music that I have and the gift that I have to try to shine the light on a brighter day for people. And that's just something that's very personal to me. So I'm very proud of this song. And I really hope that people, I hope it helps somebody out there.
yeah, absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement with you. It's one of those things that is always I've been trying to find an answer or something because musicians, like especially like solo musicians that are out like playing shows by themselves on the road themselves,
Yeah.
they put themselves in such vulnerable positions night in and night out, writing and singing about songs that are so personal to them that maybe they haven't 100% healed over, that the only way they can get through the night
Yeah.
is by turning to some of these drugs, whether it's heroin,
Yeah.
like whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they're just there has to be a better way, like to kind of cope with some of the stuff, and that's kind of especially during the pandemic. That was a
Oh, yeah.
conversation that I had with a lot of musicians because I knew, like, I'd known them for a little bit, so it's like, hey, you seem a little off kilter. What's going like, you know? So just to try and prevent any of that from happening. So
No, you're 100% on, man. And you know, I believe the pandemic made it worse in a lot of
mm,
ways for a lot of people. I mean, because the world shut down, man.
yeah,
There was just no way to cope with all that, you know.
yep, it really was. So you said the music video is coming out on October 4th. Is that when the single's dropping as well, or when is
It
that
is.
kind of?
Yeah, we've decided that we're going to release the song and the video October 4th, you know,
Mm,
and we're considering even having a live showing on all my socials
nice.
to really invite people to do that, you know, because our goal here is to really get this one out to the people.
Mm,
You know, I believe if we can get it out there, people are really they're gonna relate to this one, and I really feel that is our goal. So we're going to be trying to spread it out as many places as we can. We're going to be putting this thing all over the world.
Nice. Cool. I can't wait to see it. I I will I'm going to be honest with you, since I may not do a critique on this video, but I will definitely be paying attention to it. I try and pick what videos as far as like subject matter and stuff like that. So I'll
Sure,
kind of
sure.
watch it first and then just kind of make the call from there.
I'll
So
let you make the call for real. And if you want to, feel free to review it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
nice. Awesome. I will keep that in mind. Um, so with all that kind of in works and upcoming, what's kind of running through your mind right now? You got a month or so before this big release coming out. Like, where's your headspace at right now?
I'm in a pretty good place, man. You know, we've just completed the big work on the music video. It took a lot of editing on this one.
Yeah,
Had a very good director in Jordan Fontenot. You know, we've been working very close in hand with that. And the single with my producer Phil Chandler, we got that one out. So
yeah,
there's a little bit of a lapse of just me doing a lot of kind of pre-press and doing some build up to the song and the video. But other than that, I've been kind of just doing some performances, coming off the road a little bit. You know, I just got off the road this past weekend, doing a
yeah.
couple of local shows, and just kind of spending a little time with the family and trying to gear up because I know that once October hits, it's gonna be a hectic time.
Yep. Oh yeah. October always is, especially in the South down here. October is like the best time to be out doing shows, especially if they're outdoor shows.
It really is, man, and we're very excited because we're going to release 12 o'clock, like I said, on October 4th, and then
Hmm.
October 26th. I'm very proud to say I'm nominated for 4 Josie Awards this year. So I'm gonna be in Nashville performing at the CMA Theater for the pre-party bash October 26th. So it's like we're gonna drop the single, and we're gonna really be able to debut it to everybody in Nashville October 26th. So we're very excited about that.
Amazing. You just reminded me. I supposed to have media passes for that, but I have not heard from anybody yet. So I got to go figure out when I'm supposed to find out. So
Well, man,
yes,
I hope that you're there. I'd like to catch up with you at the Josie's, man. Do some talking.
yeah. I've never been to the Josie's.
Neither have I.
The only hard part is it's like the weekend before is or like the 2 weekends before I have two big trips. So there's a music festival that happens down in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oh, it just came
And
from here, yeah.
yeah, and so I'll be down there for like 5 days doing a huge music festival. And then I booked a couple of like pretty decent interviews up in Dallas. So it's like, okay, I'm going from New Braunfels to Dallas, and then I'm gonna have to, assuming that I get these media passes lined out, I'll have to be in Nashville 2 weeks after that. It's just like it's gonna be a lot of traveling in October, but that's
Man,
okay.
it sounds like you're about on the road as much as I am, man.
I'm trying, dude. It's I'm trying to get the podcast on the road and do like live in front of people type stuff, which is always fun. So we're building out a like a 10-day tour in May. So
Man, that's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah.
You're gonna be out there just burning up that highway, huh?
I love driving. Like I love
Yeah.
traveling. Like I feel like if I was able to keep time, I'd be a musician of some sort. Like
Well, I
that's
don't know, man. You might can hold time better than some of the drummers I've played with in the past. I don't know.
fair. Fair. I try see when I was in college, my buddy was a guitar player and he tried to teach me how to keep time on the drums because he had
Mhm.
a drum set as well. He's like, I just need somebody to keep time for me. So like just like a basic like little kick drum. And he
Yeah.
tried to teach me and I'd get it, but I was always like really drunk when I got it. So maybe that's the key. But I feel like getting drunk every night just to keep time sounds like a terrible business plan. So
Well, especially if you're driving from town to town, man.
yes, absolutely. So
And you know, it's
uh
funny that you mentioned New Braunfels, Texas, because
yeah.
man, we a couple of I'd have to say about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, me and Florian had teamed up to do a honky tonk show down at I don't know if you've heard of the Green Hall
Hmm.
down from man.
Yeah.
We played a show over there to a packed house, and man, what a magical place, huh, man? I mean,
Yeah.
that's where George Strait and all these cats played. It was
Oh
a
yeah.
fantastic night, man. I love that place.
Dang, I wish I'd have known. I mean, New Braunfels is about 2.5 hours from me, but still, that's not a bad drive, given that I lived out in New Mexico and it took 3 hours to get anywhere. So
Yeah, man, we opened up for I don't know if you ever heard of 2 Tons of Steel. but we opened up for those guys.
Yeah.
They were one time big on the Grand Ole Opry and all that. They were fantastic as well, man. Next time we play over there, I'm gonna have to give you a shout out and get you in over there.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know. I it's so funny because it's so hard for me to get to shows just here in Waco. But if
Yeah,
there's a show like 3 hours away, somehow I always have the time to go. It's kind of the oddest thing, but it's I like driving. What can I say?
man, I'm right there with you. You know, I love driving and seeing all the new sights. It's kind of therapeutic a little bit. You just kind of get
Yeah.
away and just keep going. You know.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So before we wrap this up, what have you been getting into outside of music? As do you Are you a bike rider? Did I see you like riding motorcycles or something like?
Well, you know, I love motorcycles, and
Okay.
you've probably seen the artwork for one of my tunes, "Ready to Ride." I was
That's
on a
what it was. Yeah.
chopper. Yeah, I was on a chopper. I went down. There's a funny story behind that, man. Just to wrap up, you know, like I went down to Natchez, Mississippi, and I
Mm.
had a friend down there who had all these custom bikes, and we had planned out this day. It was going to be a great day, and man, the most freakish thing happens. This was back in the winter, and the temperature drops down to about 10 degrees in Natchez, and there's a snowstorm coming, which very rarely happens.
Yep.
So, man, everybody's like, man, you look so cool on this bike. What they don't know is I was freezing half to death. I felt like I was a snowman on that bike,
Yeah.
man. You put your hand on that cold metal and it's about to freeze your hands off. But yeah,
Yep.
I'm actually a big fan of like not just motorcycles, but all the custom cars and all
Mm.
those classic sports cars and stuff. Man, I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I saw the artwork. And then did you do a music video for Ready to Ride as well, or was it just kind of like something for like Spotify's?
We just did something for just like we did an acoustic performance for it,
Okay.
but we didn't
Got it.
really do an official video. We were saving that for Honky Tonk USA, and
Yeah.
really what we've been building up towards is we didn't do one for Ready to. I mean, Time's catching up to me either. We really were just 12 o'clock in Texas has been taking up so much of our time in
Yeah.
the cinema world. It's been a heck of an undertaking there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's probably not cheap either.
No, no, you as you know in cinema, it is not a cheap thing to do a music video. I can only imagine what a movie must be because these music videos to do them right and have them edited right, it's not a good thing. It's pretty expensive.
Oh yeah. I've actually been talking to a couple of friends because it's been a good while since I've actually physically made a music video. And I've been talking to a few people up in Nashville, like, hey, this song you wrote last summer, I have a really cool video idea for it. And so it's just like I want to get back into it. I'm just trying to figure out how much I actually want to get back into it to like offer up like free services to do a music video. But
Man,
we'll
that's
see how
super
that.
cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that you dabble in that world, though, man. That's awesome.
Honestly, that's what got all this started. Like we started doing like acoustic performance video, like just straight multi-camera acoustic performance videos. And then I ended up moving away. Like when I was living out in New Mexico, I ended up moving away and it was just me. And I was like, I did it for a little bit by myself, but it just wasn't fun. Like
Yeah.
before it was like, hey, Jeff, come with me, just like bringing the crew with me. And it was like, take a 3-4 hour road trip and it was the boys, good times. And then when it became by myself, it was like, yeah,
A lot more work than a lot more fun. Huh?
yes, absolutely.
I
So,
can understand. It's a lot of work, man. I love cinema and I write all my own music video scripts, but I can
mhm.
tell you it can get pricey and it can get very, very exhausting depending on the project.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. So, um, so I really appreciate this conversation and really appreciate your time. If anybody wants to check out your music or any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Man, you can't hide from me. I'm a bit of everywhere. And I'm going to tell you the first place would be willwesleymusic.com, man. You can see everything I have there from tour dates to press to videos to everything we got going, tours, shows. But you also can check me out on YouTube. I got a lot of cool music videos if you're still into music videos.
Yep.
You know, you can check out all of that there. And pretty much just anywhere you find your music, anywhere you stream it, you know, I'm there from Spotify, Apple, Pandora, wherever you get it. Just type in Will Wesley and I'm there.
Amazing, man. Well, really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute blast. We'll have to try and do this again soon. And it's always a blast chatting with you. So,
It's always a pleasure, man. And I want to thank you for having me on Live and Amplified, man. I hope we can do it again real soon.
oh yeah, absolutely. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Hey, thank you.